Dropbear and Panda.
Save the world.
Episode
59. Yeah. It's 59.
599999.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, so here we are, episode 59. When are we going to stop doing these?
I don't know. Never?
Never.
Tomorrow?
We don't know.
I don't know.
We'll stop doing this one after this one until the next one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will stop doing them when we stop doing them and not a second beforehand.
Exactly. So There's some crazy stuff happening in the world, and we're here to tell you all about it.
DVP News right now.
Yeah, by the time you hear this, it'll be sometime after November 10th. November 10th.
It will
onward,
be November 10th.
when you start hearing this.
Well, yes.
Unless you're in this house. In which case, it's November 9th.
Oh, dear. Wow. Yeah. So we'll be releasing this on November 10th.
That's right.
It's the long weekend for Remembrance Day. Mm-hmm. We will be talking about Remembrance Day later in the podcast.
That's right.
But right now, we're going to talk about something super weird, which I guess kind of has to do with Remembrance Day, but not really, because it's about a movie that is going to be about the Vietnam War and involves someone who's already died.
Yeah. As the actual lead.
The secondary lead. How do you do that, you might ask?
CGI.
And magic.
Where'd the little magic guy go?
I've been in here through the power of magic.
So, why don't you bring us up to speed here? So, what's the name of the film, and who's this actor?
So James Dean has been cast in a movie called Finding Jack.
So James, like the James Dean.
The James Dean.
The dead James Dean.
Yes, they are not digging him up. Uh-huh. They are not going to be taking his skeleton and hooking it up to levers and pulleys or anything like that. Weird. They have gotten the okay from his family to CGI the fuck out of him. They have taken collections of newsreels and video and other movies and are putting together a CGI rendition of him as a secondary lead to this movie about a guy and his war dog.
Wow.
In a Vietnam movie called Finding Jack.
What the hell? So that's crazy. I mean, I can see it's technologically, I think it's very doable to where you won't even notice it. But I have so many questions.
So Magic City's Anton Ernst told The Hollywood Reporter, "We searched high and low for the perfect character to portray the role of Rogan, which has some extreme and complex character arcs, and after months of research, we decided on James Dean."
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
We feel very honored that his family supports us and will take every precaution to ensure that his legacy as one of the most epic film stars to date is kept firmly intact.
What? So how do they... Okay, so here's a question. Like, are they going to have a voice actor, like, dub him?
Yep, they have a voice actor to do his voice, which they haven't said who it is. So it could be someone who's no-named but is really good at doing James Dean impersonations, I guess.
You're tearing me apart.
I'm not really sure. It's based on a historical fiction novel called Finding Jack about a boy and his dog. The boy is a depressed soldier. The dog is a military scout animal.
So, okay. So let's unpack this a little bit. So many questions. First of all, this is the first time that you've ever had like a dead person, pardon me, brought back to life for a semi-starring role, a secondary starring role. Like he's going to be in the whole movie.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because we have seen other actors, deceased actors, be brought back for little things.
Yeah, and I still think that's weird.
Like Rogue One had 2, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Yeah. So that Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. And you could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a great job, but you could definitely tell.
Yeah, and
then Carrie Fisher.
Who was off-putting.
Yeah, and I remember I enjoy Rogue One. I enjoyed it. But what I really wanted, and I remember when we came out of the movie theater, I was like, what the why? What I really wanted them to do with that scene, because it was the scene where she is giving, and I could get this wrong, so Star Wars fans, don't yell at me.
Oh, send us letters.
I want to say it was when she was giving doing the whole, like, about to do the Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope, giving the microfilm or whatever it is, or the chip.
Yeah.
She was in the iconic white costume with the space buns and everything. Yeah. I would have preferred it if they had an actress and it was the back of her head. They showed the gown and the space buns, but never showed her face. And then it would have alluded more. And I would have been a lot more excited, been like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, shit, they're gonna what? Instead of having her turn around and been like CGI, creepy, kind of weird skin and good for like great video game.
Oh, sure.
But
and we'll talk about the technology. We'll talk about video games later, but the technology to recreate these characters has really stepped up.
Oh yeah, like outstanding work.
Who else has been like resurrected? Audrey Hepburn was for a commercial back in 2013 for Galaxy Chocolate.
I'm assuming everybody's family had to give the okay,
I would imagine.
or whoever runs the.
Bruce Lee recreated for a Johnny Walker commercial.
I wonder how many of these dead people would be okay with this.
Yeah, I don't know. Fred Astaire, a Dirt Devil commercial.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So like he was like, dancing on the ceiling, vacuuming and stuff like that. I can't remember the year that was done, but yeah, they recreated Fred Astaire.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
Is there any more?
Oh, tons more.
Do
you want me to go through the list?
Yes, please.
Oliver Reed was in Gladiator. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was brought back at the end of the Hunger Games. So he died during the filming of the Hunger Games, and they had to recreate him digitally for the end. Nancy Marchand in The Sopranos, John Candy in Wagons East, Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, and Marlene Dietrich. Roy Scheider in Iron Cross was brought back. Every historical figure in Forrest Gump was recreated.
I guess so, but they weren't. Well, yeah, they were CGI'd, I guess, but yeah.
Brandon Lee, of course, for the Crow.
Yeah.
So they had to do that. Laurence Olivier, he was a hologram in Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow, and Marlon Brando in Superman Returns is another one, notably. But again, these are not co-starring or starring roles.
Yeah.
And not for a whole movie.
I remember being blown away by Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
How they were able to put Forrest Gump in these actual historical parts. But this James Dean thing is weird. I do want to point out Canadian VFX banner Imagine Engine will be working alongside South African VFX company MOI Worldwide. So, I mean, there's a Canadian tilt to this, which is cool. Go Canada. I just don't know how I feel about doing a whole. I mean, great for them. They're going to be hopefully rolling in the dough. Maybe
is it the fact that there's got to be some actor that could be the next James Dean that hasn't been discovered yet, and this is it being lazy to recreate an iconic character? Well,
not for the VFX workers, right. But I'm sure they could have found an actor out there. Is this? Yeah,
is it maybe a marketing ploy to get people in the theater to see it? Like, are they using because I'm absolutely positive that there's another actor out there that could portray this role. But it's not, sure. It's not going to get the press that rebooting James Dean will get.
An actor I thought of for sure who could do it, who looks like him, is James Franco.
It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Who might listen to our podcast.
It might. He hasn't said he doesn't. Yeah. But he's certainly too old.
Yeah.
And
hear that, James?
I don't think he's very popular right now due to some stuff, which we won't get into, but I could see him like in my brain right now.
Yeah.
In that iconic red coat, the whole James Dean thing. I could totally see him. Absolutely. But James Franco to me would be perfect. But he's probably way too old because I think James Dean died when he was 23 or something like that.
Was he, not one of the 27 club?
No. Yeah. Franco is way too old now. Yeah. But just seems weird to me. But if it actually comes out in theaters, I don't know if I would see it in the theater, but I would be really interested to see what it looks like.
That's a rent for me.
Maybe though, or I'll see the trailer and be like, ugh. Or I could be like, my God, this is the most amazing CGI I've ever seen.
Well, if you can't tell that it's CGI, if you stop thinking, if you start wondering if it's CGI or not, and you just get involved in the story, then they're winning.
Yeah.
The moment that you see anything that doesn't resonate as true, you're going to be like, oh, I'm out. Like it's a huge risk. I think it's a gigantic risk.
It is. And I mean, kudos to the VFX people for tackling it, but I think it's weird to do an entire character, like full movie, totally completely CGI. And I don't know how I don't know. It just, bleh.
And I wonder if they're going to use a real dog or a CGI dog.
No one's going to be.
What's real anymore? Because, have you ever worked with animals on a set?
Oh, I have in a play, and it was.
It is not easy. So it would be way easier to have a CGI dog.
Would it be though?
Because and a real person.
Have you seen? I've seen the behind the scenes for like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. Yeah, 99% of it is just working with a green screen and some boxes. It looks awful.
Well, and a credit to the actors that can bring that world to life.
Yeah,
given what they're working with.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, not so good. You've got some news.
I do. So this is breaking news. Breaking news. The CDC seems to have figured out at least one of the causes of all these lung injuries from vaping.
What they think they have.
Yeah, they think. Yeah. They're not sure. Anyway, so what they found out is that a lot of these vaping companies, the distillate that they use to vape with is using a vitamin E acetate, which basically coats the lungs like with a honey-like substance.
Ew.
Ew, that's like not a lot of lots.
Yeah. And I don't have all the numbers yet, but I mean there's 2,000 vaping related serious lung injuries that are being investigated right now, and it's growing all the time. A large amount of them are from THC. You can get a vaporizer for cannabis flower, like the bud, but you can also use a cannabis distillate or whatever, the oil that you can vape and get high with. And these are the injuries are coming from this distillate that people are using. And it's because it's being mixed with this vitamin E, which gives it sort of a thicker, it is more viscous. Yeah.
Why do you want it to be more viscous, though?
I don't know. It must be something to do with, how it sits in your vaporizer. Because if it's too liquidy, then, maybe it's runny. I really don't know. I don't use this stuff. Yeah. I don't use that product. I really think that really for the most part, inhaling smoke is dumb.
So it looks like that the common denominator right now of all the sick people and all the people who have died is this vitamin E.
Is this vitamin E acetate.
And it seems to be extra oily and it coats their lungs. Exactly. And that seems to be what they think is what's killing and making people sick.
Yeah, because
and it happens so fast.
Yeah, and it coats the lungs and, well, it's literally like suffocating yourself from the inside out. So you can get the air in, but no oxygen can pass through the membrane. Right? And get into your body.
Like, I know smoking is really bad for you, but...
well, at least, smoking will kill you in 50 years, whereas vaping could kill you now.
Like, and you go downhill fast. Yeah. Like, I think they were saying that people are fine one day and all of a sudden you've got a cough and then bam, you're in the hospital in like 48 hours.
That's messed up.
In the ICU.
I see people vaping like these great big clouds come out of cars. Like it's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, and knowing what you know now, like and there's vape stores, so you can buy like vape products all throughout Calgary and I'm sure the world. But I just that seems like reckless to the point of why would you do that?
People are going to be buying cigarettes to help quit vaping. Oh my God, that's so bad. So I understand. So vaping originally, I think was developed by, and I only know this because I listened to a podcast called Sawbones.
Yeah.
And it was about vaping. And I believe the first time an actual vape was used, it was developed in China by a gentleman who wanted to quit smoking.
Right.
And he couldn't do it. So he found the problem is he still needed to...
That oral fixation.
Exactly. So he created it himself. And then it sort of took on from there. But this was way back, a long time ago. And then it resurged back in now. So I understand at the beginning, if you wanted to quit smoking, you needed something. So vaping was a good thing. But the whole reason why vaping started was to help quit smoking.
Right.
And I know some people who were able to do that. But the weird thing in my brain is, why would you take up vaping just because? But then I think, why would you take up smoking? Because it's like smoking will kill you. And now, of course, vaping will kill you. So, or could kill you. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, why? But
well, I
mean, it's just what people do. I mean, you know, it's the thing.
But I mean, you've got all the addictive chemicals of smoking, it concentrated into this stuff that makes these huge clouds, which, you know, was purported to be safe. So why wouldn't you? It's just vapor. And we like clouds are vapor, so that's totally fine. Like, so it's been a huge lie that, you know.
Well, and was it a lie though? Because I remember when it came out, they said we can't say it's unsafe, but we can't say it's safe. So it's all neutral. So people just automatically said, well, they can't say it's unsafe. So
fair enough.
Not like cigarettes anyway, because it doesn't have the
tar
garbage,
but doesn't it? I don't know. It's got different kind of garbage apparently. Yeah. Anyway, so that's sort of the breaking news, and you know, we're not doctors, not a doctor.
But you know, maybe people would rather smell like bubblegum than cigarettes, right?
I agree.
I would rather smell like bubblegum than cigarettes.
It is certainly more pleasing than cigarette smoke to walk behind somebody vaping, although it's still pretty obnoxious.
Raspberries.
Like it's like, I don't want to have blueberries. Like,
I just get upset that there's not people baking blueberry pies.
Right. It's like, where's the pie?
Yeah.
Where's the pie?
There's no pie.
Yeah.
Dean Winchester must be very upset all the time.
Yeah.
Where's the pie? You're gonna give me some pie.
Look at these chemicals. You even read the label?
No, I read pie. The rest is just blah, blah, blah. Hope your apple pie is freaking worth it.
Best pie in the tri-state area.
You don't say.
Pie.
No pie?
Then he like shanks them with the
Zephyr blade.
We need some crossovers, guys.
Yeah, right.
Come on. We need to start writing some letters.
Behold, Doraleous, the true Zephyr blade.
Now that looks like a Zephyr blade.
All right, that's a biscuit.
That would be so good.
Yeah. The Zephyr blade.
Dean Winchester and the Zephyr blade.
I know. Be amazing. You hear that, Neebs?
And Supernatural?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Supernatural's ending.
Get on it. This could be it. This could be like the epic instead of like the Mark of Cain. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't know.
We're behind by like 2 seasons.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it needs to end with the Zephyr blade.
Oh my God. That's not the Zephyr blade.
Son of a bitch.
Dean! What'd you do with the Zephyr blade? Okay, we gotta do a thing. This might be a good time to just go with the sponsor, because I can't even right now.
All right, and now a word from our sponsor.
Dropbear and Panda gonna save the world. Wearing intentionally mismatched socks. Ethically made. The Friday Sock Company, saving the world one step at a time.
Now it's time for Dropbear and Panda's Reviews.
So I got a new video game.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Which surprised me because I didn't know you were going for one.
Yeah, well, so I have a couple of things to let the world know about. First off is my Mac Pro finally bit the bullet and it's toast.
I need 2 more.
No.
Please.
No.
Pretty please.
Never.
Maybe she loves me.
It was toast a while ago.
It's been struggling. Our last couple of film projects have really beaten the crap out of it. So I ended up building a new computer with the help of Memory Express and some other smart people, and I now have a Windows computer. Wow. But it's fine. I like it. I'm getting used to it.
You tried to not have it be Windows, but
yeah, I tried to do a Hackintosh, but that I couldn't. I wasn't smart enough for that. And then I ended up because I need to work Windows 10, and it's not that bad. I'm getting used to it, but I'm getting used to it only so long as it takes Apple to get the new Mac Pro in my hands.
Yes,
because anyway. So I got a video game called Battlefield 5, which is World War II.
Oh, I called it Battlefield Super Duper yesterday. Because I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so I downloaded it and I played like a level on the computer. I'm like, I'm not quite there. Like I don't know. My computer's for work and stuff. It's not for gaming. So I was like, I need something different. So I went on back to the trusty PlayStation 4 and I found myself modern Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And it's really good. Like it is. So we were talking about like characters being recreated like James Dean in CG. The graphics in this video game are so freaking real. It's insane. Whoa! The storyline is fantastic. So what I love about this game is, and I'm not all the way through it. I'm about halfway through maybe the story.
I hope you're not all the way through it because that's really fast and would be disappointing.
Yeah, but maybe I'm not even halfway through it. I really don't know. I've got no idea how long this story will take place, except that it's basically modern day, and it goes from the UK to Afghanistan to the US, and so you've got all these competing forces, and you also it really kind of, I don't know if demonstrates is the right word, but you can see how people can become radicalized. And especially, sort of the storyline in Afghanistan, this one character and her brother, how they ended up going 2 separate ways, but, fighting for the same thing, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's fascinating and it's terrifying because warfare is terrifying, just in general. Modern warfare is scary as fuck. Like it is so complicated and there's so many overlapping things, and this person who was your friend is now your enemy in the next chapter, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I think that they did a really good job of so far anyway of really sort of sharing the turmoil that is the planet right now and warfare in general.
The one thing that I noticed, besides how gorgeous it is, which I'd like to talk to in a little bit, just because I don't play, because I have the eye-hand coordination of a gnat. Actually, probably worse than a gnat wearing mittens. Is that it used to be seen, and I don't know because I didn't live back then. Good versus evil,
right? Yeah.
Allies versus the Axis, like Nazis versus
black and white.
Exactly the bad and good, evil. Good,
less evil.
The Nazis and bad guys and good guys, right? Yep. Like it's just easy, cut and dry. Now it's gray. It's all levels of gray, right? Like you don't hear about all the bad things the good people did, and you start to hear about stuff right now. Like you hear about the atrocities that the Allies did in World War II, it comes out 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, right? We did some pretty terrible things back in World War II to win the war, but I mean, we did it for the greater good, right? But it still doesn't mean that it was good at the time, doesn't make it good now.
Are we the baddies?
Yeah, are we the baddies? There are skulls on our caps. They were the Nazis in that film, but still. And I was watching you play this one part where you were actually given the option, and you weren't quite sure what you had to do yet, and it just basically said, the guy said, "Are you in or are you out?"
Right.
And then it popped up on the screen, in or out. And I'm sure if you said you were out, it would have played ahead anyway. It just would have been behind a door.
Yeah.
But you said, I don't know, I'll say I'm in.
Yeah.
So you said you were in and you had to play it out as opposed to it playing out behind a door.
It's uncomfortable.
It was still like,
Yeah.
And you were like, this is dark.
Yeah.
So I can see how you have to make some pretty tough decisions, and it would have happened anyway, whether you were there or not. And I'm sure that's a lot of what happens now. And you can see how people come back from conflicts being, even if you've done everything by the book and everything as good as you could possibly do it, you still come back not the same.
Yeah, you would never be, I don't think. And so this game, I think, it's done a great tribute to, obviously nothing is going to compare at all to like actual combat and warfare and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they don't treat it lightly, I guess, is what I'm saying. They don't just throw away or add in these tropes and, video game it up. It feels like there's some moral choices to make.
It's pretty raw and dirty.
And it certainly has challenged me to, consider how fucked up combat is. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so the other side of this game too, which is one that I'm not good at, is the online version. But Kieran's been taking on that world. Yep. And so it's like typical kind of capture the flag. You've got teams, you've got trash talking 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. But I think you can mute that stuff now. I don't play the online world.
No. And I watched him play a bit of it last night, and he seems to really enjoy it. And of course, you enjoy it more if you have people on your team that are good. It seemed pretty scattered. I mean, if you're playing with people you don't know, you don't really have a plan. So I was like, I actually said at one point, I was like, what are you guys even... Do you have a plan? He's like, no, because there was nothing. I mean, there was no leapfrogging. There was no cover me. There was no, so I mean, his team was getting decimated for a while. And I was like, you guys don't even I don't play video games, but I know some stuff about strategy. And I was like, you guys just don't even know what the hell's going on, do you? He's like, whatever. But, and I'm not sure the one complaint he has is it kept freezing. And kicking him out of the game. And I'm wondering if it's because, and I don't know computers, but I'm wondering if it's because the game is so popular right now, the server's getting overloaded and there's too many people on it.
Right.
And which is good for the game because it means the game is popular.
Totally.
And it's great.
Yeah.
But you can't play it because it's so popular and you get kicked out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That game made me not be able to play last night.
That game made you not be able to play last night? What do you mean?
Well, you see, we would play for like 2 minutes, get really into a game, a gun game. We'd get super far, we'd be winning, and they'd kick you off the servers because it was too busy.
Is that what happened? Huh. Do you like the game? Like, come on over and give us how many, out of 5 Kiirins, how many Kiirins do you give it?
Oh, out of 5 Kiirins? Well... If you want to compare it to the previous games of that series, it's probably 5 out of 5 because, well, before you jump everywhere now, it's kind of gone back to basics.
Back to basics.
Basic. Oh, no, it's a plug-in for somebody else. Can't say that here.
All right. So you heard it here. 5 out of 5 Kiirins.
5 out of 5 Kiirins.
Nice. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, 5 out of 5 Kiirins. I'm going to give, so far, the storyline, I'm going to give it 4.5 drop bears out of 5 drop bears for the story.
What happened to the other half?
Well, I haven't finished the game yet. I'm hedging my bets a little because maybe it goes sideways. I don't know.
So maybe next time I ask you, we should remember this. Next time it could be down to 3.
Yeah, could very well be. But I am determined to actually get through this storyline.
I am impressed with how freaking gorgeous it is.
It's crazy, yeah.
I was watching Kierin again play last night with his little hands going through with his gun.
Yeah.
And you could see the veins and the little hairs on his thumb. Like it's incredible. It's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the cityscapes and the cities that he goes around in and stuff, just
and the
beautiful.
atmospherics that you've got in it.
The hay bales or the hay hills were kind of lame.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, he was in a farm.
Oh.
There was some hay.
You hear, is it Electronic Arts? I don't know. Get on the hay bales.
The hay bales were kind of
your hay bale
lacking.
Team. Maybe that's where the half Dropbear goes.
Into the hay?
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, moving on. Anyway, that's my review of Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I feel a little dirty going from Call of Duty Modern Warfare to our Save the World section.
Yeah, well, so let's have a little bit of a bridge.
Yes,
and I do feel the exact same way that you do, because it is a little off-putting. But how we're going to get there is we're going to save the world a little bit before we save the world a lot of bit. So we're just going to give a shout out to this guy in Nova Scotia.
Jeremy Locke, we're looking at you.
Yeah, and he's all the way across Canada.
He is in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Jeremy Locke of Locke's Roofing. He is an angel.
Yeah, and well, he's also a liar.
Yes, a lying angel.
Because he tricked this elderly woman into getting a new roof.
Yes, what a bastard. He kept driving by, if I recall the story correctly, Jeanette McDonald's roof was in disrepair.
Yeah, and I think the story was saying that it was partially done, but some contractors didn't come back to finish it, and she was waiting for it, and she was waiting for a grant.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, just wait until I get the grant, and then you can come and do it. And he was just like,
So he came up to her door and said, hey, would you like to enter a raffle?
Yeah, for a new roof.
And she was like, okay. But little did she know that she was the only person who entered.
That's right. So
that's weird.
Yeah, she agreed to take place in the raffle. She was the only one. And so basically this guy and his crew, they donated their time and they did her roof.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
It made my heart grow a little bit.
Aw.
Cardiomegaly. I'm going to die. Thanks, Jeremy. And the only payment that he asked for, because of course, she probably was like, oh no, this is terrible. He just asked that on the very last day that they all have dinner together.
Oh my God.
So I think she made like a giant lasagna for everybody.
Oh.
I know, it's the cutest thing ever.
Oh.
So Jeremy Locke of Locke's Roofing and the rest of you, Dropbear and Panda approved.
Yeah, love it.
We saw that story and we were just tickled pink by that. So we just want to say kudos to you guys. And saving the world is really important. It's not only about recycling and, making sure that, you clean up your rivers and oceans and that kind of thing, but also just taking care of each other. And
making somebody's life a little better.
Yeah, and we just really wanted to appreciate you.
Yeah.
And Jeanette, you're awesome too.
Absolutely, because lasagna.
Yeah.
And
way to go.
Yeah, and East Coast people.
Yeah, I know. I miss Nova Scotia.
I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
You talk about it a lot.
I know. Sorry about that.
I'm more Pacific. You're more Atlantic.
Yeah, but you're always like Pickering, Ontario. Blah, 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 blah. Pickering, blah.
Lake Ontario, three-eyed fish.
Blah. Ow!
It's time
for Dropbear and Panda to save the world.
Okay, so how do you want to save the world this week?
Well, as you might know, as you should know, this is the Remembrance Day long weekend.
It is, yep.
11th day of the 11th month, on the 11th hour. We take some time to remember the veterans and the people who gave their lives for this country.
Yep.
To basically save the world.
Yeah, like literally save the world.
On November 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning, the armistice was signed in 1918 to end World War I. It was supposed to be the war that ended all wars, which unfortunately we all know did not happen. One of the things that I wanted to make sure of that people knew about, and we'll talk about Remembrance Day in a little bit more. One thing that did catch my eye was a nonprofit organization called War in Pieces.
Yeah.
And it is local. It is from Calgary.
Yeah, which is really cool.
But anyone can donate if that's what you want to do.
I have some notes on how to do that for later.
Yeah, but what it is it is a growing collection of stories donated by active military personnel, veterans, and their families, each told in first person and presented with a memento that symbolizes the story.
Right.
Their purpose is to provide an intimate glimpse of life through the eyes of their soldiers and their families. And
you can learn more about it at war-in-pieces.ca. And you can also donate there.
Yeah, it's I've never seen one of these. They are being shown on Remembrance Day, which will be tomorrow. This podcast is going to be released on November the 10th.
Yeah.
It'll be shown from 12 to 4 at the Calgary Public Library downtown.
Oh, nice. There's also a pop-up gallery at Riedel Library at Mount Royal University on the 10th, which is today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The exhibits reveal the challenges and rewards of military life, how some storytellers protect themselves from the trauma of combat, the depth of the bonds that they share with their fellow soldiers. Sometimes the families will talk about what it's like for their sons and daughters to be away in combat.
Right.
I did see a story that I read this morning that actually broke my heart about when military personnel showed up at their door to tell them that their son was not coming home.
Yeah.
Some of the stories are quite short. Some of them are about 30 seconds long to read. Some of them are a little bit longer. They span from Bosnia. There's one from Korea. Yeah. You've got Afghanistan. There was even a gentleman who wrote a story about when he was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Canadian soldier in Vietnam. It was conceived in 2014 by Melanie Timmins, a passionate believer in the power of stories.
That's awesome.
And I think this is incredibly important and
Absolutely.
Really worth going to.
A couple of things to know about that. They accept objects as well, like along with the stories as well. So basically, it could be, just a symbol of your story, and how it's used is completely up to you. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to them at the website. We'll put the website in the links, but you can, they take care of everything. So some stuff that might be irreplaceable, they'll just photograph and add as part of their catalog or, part of the gallery. Then you can get that piece back. Your name and all your information is protected if you don't want to share that. But it really, I think, is super valuable to share those stories.
Well, and I take this actually very seriously. I was told of a story of my great-grandfather, which many of you have heard, if there are any friends or family listening to this. My great-grandfather was shot, and he survived, but he was shot in Flanders Fields in 1915. And that's where my interest and obsession with military history and strategic studies sort of started.
Yeah.
The reason why these projects and galleries are really important is we need to have these stories with us. We need to be able to remember. The people who are able to tell these stories aren't going to be around with us for very much longer. And some of them don't want to tell these stories to their families and to their friends for obvious reasons, right? Yeah. And I think it's important for us to know these stories too, whether it be from somebody we know or a complete stranger. We wear our poppies, we go to the ceremonies, but to actually read and see these stories with a memento that's attached to it, I think that adds a certain something that kind of connects you to this world that we're not a part of, and we're lucky to not be a part of.
Yeah, exactly.
These people put their lives on the line, and mentally and physically, parts of them have been lost forever. And I think we really need to appreciate that more than what we do.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And even if you appreciate it a lot, I still don't think it's enough.
I think that, so on November 11th, it would be, it's great to have your minute of silence, but go find a memorial to go to.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's lots out there.
I know that we posted on our Facebook and on our Twitter places that you can go for memorials in Calgary.
Yep.
Just Google search it for the city that you're in. I mean, obviously there's not. We have listeners that aren't just from Calgary, so we've got
57 countries.
We've got listeners everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just really important. Just do your bit, and everybody is connected to conflict somehow, whether it be from World War II or Korea or Afghanistan.
Yep.
And it keeps going, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, give your love and mad respect to servicemen and women that you find.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been Dropbear.
I've been Panda.
This has been Dropbear and Panda.
Save the world.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, the Friday Sock Company.
This podcast was recorded at the Dropbear and Panda Kensington studio.
Special thanks to Emery Cords for the kick-ass theme music.
Don't forget to subscribe.
It's Dropbear and Panda, Dropbear and Panda, Dropbear and Panda, coming at you, Panda, coming at you like a locomotive on a motherfucking bender. Yeah, tap my culture, now my jab, follow me. Yeah, with Michael Doggies, yeah, you be checking on the flow, yo. Checking flow, bitch, you was quick, you can't pick my medical ranges, angles, tangles, you get tangled, twisted side reflexes, child should be, can't compete with the owls that devour. Yeah, with the owls that devour, yeah, it's a Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive blowing out to my normal chopper. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive blowing out to my normal chopper. Dropbear and Panda.